All I know is Blake
Bitch from the purge, when the Glocks load up. No lack, a little bitch looked up. I was raised in the field with the rim, so what? Use kills to survive when the field turn up. Bitch from the purge, when the Glocks load up. No lack, a little bitch looked up. I was raised in the field with the rim, so what? It's kills to survive when the field turn up. I'm submerged in the streets. I was made on the block. I was raised over east. Cut those shorty, I'm a beast. Cut those shorty, I'm a vet. I remember going crazy with the tech. Had a string, so I put it on my neck. Wish a little pussy nigga flex. Free a real nigga, little nuts. Out looking late night like a bat. That's when a nigga ain't be the best. So the much got tight on my touch. Cutthroat gon' take a nigga soul. Damn, cutthroat hard so far.
Yo, what's up, fam? It's your homeboy Big Mac coming at you straight from North Carolina. I just wanted to bring a little video about something that's been on my mind since I've been watching these YouTube video channels and these YouTube prison channels. And some big differences. You know what I'm saying? Between the states, and that there's quite a few of them, and I'd like to speak on them today a little bit. You know, like here in North Carolina, there is no racial politics. It's pretty much probably like it is in Virginia. You can kind of do what you want to do with whoever you want to deal with. Now that comes with certain stigma as well, because you could be fucking with the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? Being as the fact that we don't check paperwork down here, unless you get called out on it. You get called out on your paperwork, then or get called out as a snitch. It's on you to prove that you ain't no snitch, or that you ain't no chomo or whatever. And that's one of the main things that I've noticed watching some of these prison genre channels, is that chomos, child rapists, and rapists in general, and people that do harm to women, they get no love nowhere. Now, there may be a yard or something set up just specifically for people with them crimes. I don't even know. Because I'm going to tell you like this. The whole time I did my bid, I never ran into none. Neither one of my bids, I never ran into none. You know what I'm saying? So they could have been tucked off in the corner hiding and not let nobody know what they was in there for. It's easy to hide that. But if you got a gang of time to do, you're gonna get some people around you, like some friends, somebody you can talk to, man, because we as human beings, we're social animals. We got to have other people to talk to, man. That's why when they throw you in the hole, some people go crazy in there. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't got nobody to talk to except theyself. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's a punishment to go to the hole, because they remove you from being able to talk to other people. That's the whole punishment right there of going to the hole. So a chomo or a rapist or somebody that's done some horrendous crime that don't fit the bill, then it's going to be very hard for them to hide. You know what I'm saying? Somebody somewhere along the lines is going to find out what they're in there for. And whether it be somebody they thought they could trust, and then they told them what they was in there for, and then they put them on blast, and then now they're on blast, and then they end up, we call it, see, and that's another thing by prison terms. Prison terms here are different than prison terms like out west, for example. Like out west, they call it rolling it up. You know what I'm saying? And in some other states, I think like New York and stuff like that, they call it checking in. Whenever you get rolled up off the yard, and you have to basically run up to the police and tell them your life's in danger. Then they'll get you off that yard. They'll throw you in the hole first, and then I guess then they'll take you somewhere else. I guess that's what they do with them. And like I say, that it ain't no like, and then like in California they got PC yards, like whole yards that are for protective custody. That's how many people are in protective custody in like California and Arizona. They got PC yards. Now, in my experience here in North Carolina, we have no PC yards. There is no yard where all the PCs go, like gang dropouts or people that think somebody's after them. There are no yards that are like that here, to my knowledge. I did hear somebody in one of the comments tell me that there is one yard that's for PCs here in North Carolina. I can't confirm that. I don't know. I've never been to that yard, and I don't even remember what yard it was they said it was, but I think I had heard of it, but I had never heard of it being a PC yard either. So that's another thing. But here in North Carolina, we call it checking off. Whenever you run up to the police, oh, they're gonna get me, you gotta save me. When you do something like that, we call that checking off. You're checking off the yard. And sad to say, one of the guys I've known for a long time, since the T-ball years, man, checked off of one of the softest yards in this damn state, man. And he just did it, I think it was a few months ago. Checked off of one of the softest yards in the state of North Carolina. I mean, this is it was a half med camp. Like, there's a bunch of old people there. Like, it's a med camp. They give out medications. People with like special illnesses and stuff like that. Like, if you're epileptic, you have to go to a med yard. If you're certain things like that, and this was one of them type of yards, but it was half and half. You know what I'm saying? So it was half regular inmates and then half like medical, old, people, medical inmates, people that couldn't have done shit, and he checked off from that yard. And I'm sad to say it, man, that I even know the dude like now. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I knew him, he was solid. He was, you know what I'm saying? We even did a hit together on on another inmate. You know what I'm saying? And for him to check off from that yard, it just blows my mind, man. It breaks my damn heart, dude. Cause he's gonna be out. He ain't got but 3 years, so he's gonna be hitting the streets here within a year. And I know he's gonna try to get up with me, and I'm gonna have to bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just let that ride. You know what I mean? That's some real pussy shit. Excuse my language, y'all, but I mean, that's some real pussy shit. Like, for real. Like, first of all, North Carolina gets down. You know what I'm saying? When you start getting up into the higher levels, like a high level 2, you can go to a low level 2, and you know what I'm saying, it can still go down. You know what I'm saying? like it can still go down in the low level too. If y'all remember back in one of my videos, I was talking about we had the Port City boys and we was getting it in, and then the dude kicked the volleyball into the fence and said he was trying to escape, and it was all because he owed a debt and didn't have any kind of way to pay it, and he was scared. We call that checking off. That's how he checked off from that yard. But and I believe personally, because I got transferred and 3 other people got like a lot of hold time, like what you would call a shoe term, like 6 months. One of them got 6 months, one of them got a year, the other one got a year and a half back in the hole, and which would be called the shoe here in North Carolina, the equivalent of the shoe here in North Carolina. And but we just call it the hole, long term. We call it long term hole. And they actually have terms for it: MCon, HCon, and ICon. It's maximum condition, intensive condition, maximum condition confinement, intensive condition confinement, and I forget what the H stands for, but it's high intensive confinement, and you work your way and that goes up to 2 years. So if you got 2 years, you got MCon, you got maximum level confinement. If you get, and then it goes down to intensive level confinement when you get down to a year and a half, and then a year and below is HCon, which is high intensity, high something confinement. And so that's how it's ran here in North Carolina. But some more of the lingo is like I said, rolling it up in Cali is what they call it. PCing up, rolling up. Up, I think up north, like in New York and places like that, maybe even in Virginia, they call it checking in. Well, down here in North Carolina, we call it checking off. So checking off is the same thing. So the next thing, well, I already said the next thing was the whole terms. See, the shoe it's the same thing. I mean, they have the dog kennel cages for the yard time. They have the big brick yard, which is like 15 by 30 with 40-foot concrete walls all the way around. All you can see is the sky above you. That's your rec yard, with a flat ass either volleyball or a flat ass soccer ball or a flat ass basketball in there. You got a basketball goal, but there's no net, so, and the ball's flat, so you can't even shoot ball. You know what I'm saying? You can just, all you do is just walk around in circles. That's the rec yard for the whole here in North Carolina. I don't know how it is in other places. I think out west, I think they get a handball. I think they may get a basketball. I'm not sure. I know I've seen some videos of them with a handball, playing handball out there, like in the Corcoran shoe back in the day, and some of those other shoe places. They used to play handball out there. But we don't get nothing like that. You just stuck in that. They just basically move you from one cell to a bigger cell. But the big thing is going outside. That's your main purpose, just to go get that fresh air, man. Because you've been breathing in that damn indoor fart smell, men exhaled air all day long. And then when you get that rec 3 times a week, you just want that fresh air, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. So the hole is different. It's not called the shoe here. It's called, we have 3 different names, and it depends on how long you have. And it's MCon, ICon, and HCon. And so that's the difference there. and I'm not sure what they call it up north. I think they just call it just a straight up hole. Um, I don't know if they have names for it, for what it is, or how long they stay, or anything like that. But yeah, so that's another big difference, the way they label the hole. Another thing is that I've noticed that I think is pretty universal, and this one is a universal fact, especially when you start getting up into the higher levels. When you're on the prison yard, where I was at when I was there, then when I was in that high level 2 in that close custody yard, there is no bathroom on the yard. There's no porta john on the yard, and you're out there for an hour and a half. So when they buzz the doors and they call yard time, yard call, when you go out there, you're stuck out there. And you're stuck out there for the whole hour and a half. If you gotta piss, you better not piss across that fence. Because if you get caught pissing across that fence, first of all, there's an electric wire. Okay, the fence is set up like you got the inner fence. There's an inner fence with Constantine wire on top of it. With Constantine wire on top of it. And then the Constantine wire rolls down, and then it rolls down again, and then there's rocks, and this is a 6-foot gap, and then in the middle there's electrified wires there's like 4 or 5 wires that go across all the way around in the middle that are electrified. So you have to get past that, and then there's more Constantine wire. It goes 3 and then 2 and then 1 like a pyramid up the fence, and then there's the outer fence, and it has Constantine wire wrapped around the whole top of it. So if you get caught pissing across that fence, first of all, if you get lucky and you don't hit one of them electrical wires and you don't get electrocuted, there's a truck that rides around all the way around the whole facility, and it never stops. It never stops. It continues to run, and it never stops. And that's just in case. And there's a road that goes all the way around the place, and they do that just in case somebody's trying to jump the fence. They can get the truck there real quick. You know what I'm saying? So that guy in that truck is going to see you stopped. He's going to make it back around there before you get done pissing, and he's going to say something to you. He's going to stop you, and then you're going to get a write-up. And that write-up right there, showing your junk to a guard or an officer or anybody like that, is seriously frowned upon here in North Carolina. Especially in them higher levels. They don't want to live with people that are creeps. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know if they might be behind the door in the cell block. You might be, beating old meat wagon to the other inmates, man. And don't no inmate want no another inmate doing that towards them. That's a fight off a gate. Off rip, that's off rip, that's a violation. So when you're locked out in that yard, you gotta take a piss or shit, it's over for you. And there's no guard on the yard. There's no guard out there. So when they walk you out there, they get everybody onto the yard, and it's fenced in, and when everyone's out there onto the yard, they padlock that motherfucker shut. And there's no guards out there. So if something's gonna go down out there, you on your own, or you on your own with your people. And that's why it's always good to have friends while you're in the pen. Now, it ain't quite as militant as California. They don't do like the workout regiments and you got to do this and you got to do that. Can't nobody tell you got to do nothing in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? But you do it for yourself and for the next man, for your homeboy. You know what I'm saying? If it's yard call and your home and there's, say there's 6 or 7 of y'all homeboys, if all the rest of y'all guys is tired and it's an early morning yard call, 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 to 9:30, and he wants to go out to the yard and do an early morning workout and nobody else to go with him, you should really get up and go out there with him. Don't let the man go out there by himself. Now, there's no rule and no rule book that says he can't go out there by himself. It's just a good practicing policy not to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's another big difference. Like, I've noticed even on the Cali yards, man, they got guards that walk around on the yard. You know what I'm saying? And between the inmates, and they walk around out there and they're looking and doing things like that. They don't do that here on these high-level yards in North Carolina. Not where I was at anyway. Not at Tabor Correctional. They don't go on the yard with you. They lock that padlock, and then they stay right there by that padlock door, by that padlock gate, in case something kicks off. They can get in there, and I guess they're gonna try to spray you or something like that. I never once the whole time I was in there saw something go down on the prison yard. That's because it's a dummy mission to do something on the yard like that. See, when we do something, we try to hide it. We don't want to get caught. You know what I'm saying? If you got to fight somebody, you do it in the cell, or you do it in the bathroom, or you do it somewhere discreetly. If you fighting in the day room, or if you fighting on the yard, you just been put on a dummy mission. You know what I'm saying? You a fall guy, because you know you're gonna get caught. Now, if it's serious enough, like if that dude just straight disrespects you, like bumps into you and don't say excuse me, or steps on your brand new shoes that you just bought and don't excuse himself and wipe him off or something like that, then you got to take off on them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You got to take off on them. Now, there's a level of respect that I think goes countrywide that, you must take off on certain situations. Somebody calls you a punk, somebody calls you a bitch, especially in front of other people, that's on sight. That's on sight no matter where you're at. You got to take off on them. Now, if you in the chow hall, you getting inciting and a riot. You getting an inciting a riot charge, which is probably gonna add time onto it. On top of your whole time, you might get a charge for inciting a riot, and you might get some time added on. But you don't have a choice in that matter. If somebody walks up to you in the chow hall, calls you a bitch, fuck you, you punk bitch. Somebody says that to you in the chow hall, and you don't take off on them, you might as well kiss your tray goodbye. You might as well kiss any kind of canteen you gonna get from now on goodbye. You might as well kiss them nice new shoes that you just got goodbye. People gonna be just taking mad advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta stick up for yourself. And that's a big thing, sticking up for yourself. Because if you don't stick up for yourself, nobody else is gonna stick up for you. You know what I'm saying? But if you show some heart and you stick up for yourself, usually you'll find some people that are of your same caliber that you can hang out with, that'll ride with you if the time ever came, which is how I always roll during my time. What's another one? What's another one that they use? Oh, the way they do it over in California, it's like, I was thinking about this the other night. Like, if I were like, and I don't think I'd ever go to California. I got some friends and some family that live out there, some real close friends. People a person I call a brother lives out there. I might go out there and see him, but I certainly wouldn't do nothing to get in no trouble, man. Not in California. That's because their regiment there, if you get caught up and you have to do time out there, that regiment they got is just insane, man. But it is, man. It's a numbers game, and when it goes down, that's how they roll. They roll by their race. You know what I'm saying? So the way we roll is we roll really by friendships and gangs and friendships, which is basically the same thing. And so, like, if I got a problem with this gang, me and my friends are gonna have my back. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's against this gang over here. You know what I mean? And probably 5 times, 6 times out of 10, it's gonna get solved without any fight. It might end up with a one-on-one. If you got respect, you can get a one-on-one. If you ain't got no respect, they just gonna run up on you in your cell. And I mean, they gonna run in there deep. And they're gonna take everything you got too, right after that ass whooping. So that's the main difference that I've noticed between really East and West is over here you got the gangs pretty much run everything. Over there on the West Coast, it's the race that runs everything. Now, which one's better and which one's worse? Honestly, I ain't never done no time in California, so I can't tell you how much, if it's bad or not. But I've done plenty of time here in North Carolina and done some time in South Carolina. And it's the same way pretty much in South Carolina as it is here in North Carolina. Except it's a little more wild down in South Carolina. Them boys go wild down there. And they can get wild here in North Carolina also. But the main thing is the way it's ran. It's here it's run by the gangs, there it's run by the race. You know what I'm saying? So I think if I had to pick and choose, because all the people that I ever ran with was of my race, I think I would probably choose to do time in California. You know what I'm saying? Because I would rather not have to deal with other races on that level. You know what I'm saying? Because you over here in North Carolina, you might be dealing with another race, but you don't even know. You might not even know what gang they're in. So you might not even know, who you're really dealing with. You know what I'm saying? At least over there, when you have to deal with something or deal with somebody, you at least know who you're dealing with. Here you really don't know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. A lot of times you don't know. Sometimes you do, but a lot of times you don't. So anyway, that's my take on it, on the situation. You can take it or leave it, but that's my not convict code. That's my convict opinion. So you can take it or leave it. But anyway, I think I'm about to roll. I'm getting some messages here I need to respond to. I got some girls hitting me up. So anyway, I'm about to sign off, man. So salute to all my homeboys.